Hey everybody, welcome back. Hope everybody is doing well this week. We're going to start this week off with another crock pot recipe. I have been utilizing the crock pot so much recently and I'm here for it. We're going to make some barbecue pulled chicken in the crock pot for dinner today. Super easy. I've got some chicken here that I've just got thawed out. And I'm just going to add that right into my crock pot here. Okay, so I've got that in there, and now we're just going to season everything up. So I've got some barbecue sauce here. I'm just going to add this in here. You can add whatever kind is your favorite. Alright, so I've got that in there. Now I'm just going to season this up with a little bit of salt and pepper. We're going to add in some garlic powder, some onion powder, some chili powder. Make sure you use the chili powder and not the taco seasoning. Two completely different things. And now we're going to add in some brown sugar, about a tablespoon. And some good old Worcestershire sauce, about a tablespoon. Alright, now I'm just going to go in and give this a little mix. Make sure everything is nice and coated in that sauce. Chicken is all nice and coated. Alright, so that is good to go. We're going to put the lid on this and we're going to cook this on high for about 3 hours. And you can cook this on low for about 5 to 6 hours. Whatever time amount that you have time for will work just fine. So today I'm going to do 3 hours on high. So I'll show you what it looks like when it gets done. Alright, y'all. So while my barbecue chicken is cooking, we're going to make some slaw to go with the burgers later, or the barbecue sandwiches later. In my bowl here, I've just got some shredded cabbage and some shredded carrot. You can do as much or as little as you want. And the same goes for the sauce. Since I'm only making just a little bit, I'm going to quarter my sauce. I think I have this recipe up on my blog. If not, I'll put it up there for you guys. But just check the description box below to see if the link is down there. But it's super simple. I've made it this exact way for a while, for a very long time, a couple of years, about 12 years or so now. And it's really delicious. So to my bowl here, I'm adding in some mayo. You can do store-bought or you can make your own. And to this, I'm going to add some apple cider vinegar. Now this you can substitute with either white vinegar, white wine vinegar, red wine vinegar, or some lemon juice. Whatever flavor profile you're going for will work just fine. So I'm just going to add just a little bit of that. Just a couple of teaspoons, not too much. And to that, we're going to add some sugar. You can sweeten this up however you want. I don't want it too sweet, so I'm just going to add about 2 teaspoons. Let's see if I can get this lid on here. We're just going to season this up with some salt and pepper. Now, when it comes to spices, you can add whatever profile you're going for. Today, I'm going to add a little bit of celery seed. Now, go a little bit light-handed with celery seed because it can overpower any dish really quickly. So I'm just going to add probably 1/8 of a teaspoon, not too much at all. And I'm going to add some dill. You can do fresh or dried. And I'm going to add probably 1/2 of a teaspoon. And I'm just going to grab my little whisk here, and we're just going to whisk this together until everything is combined and that sugar is dissolved. Now, before you add this to your slaw mixture, go ahead and give it a taste and see if you need any salt, pepper, sugar, any more apple cider vinegar. That is pretty good, so I'm going to go ahead and add this right into my slaw. And now I'm just going to mix this all together. Now keep in mind, when you make your slaw, a little bit of sauce goes a long way, because the slaw and the carrots will give off its own juices as it sits. So just keep that in mind when you're making your slaw. And that looks pretty good, you guys. I'm going to go ahead and put some plastic wrap over the top of this, pop this in the refrigerator and let it sit and kind of marinate while the chicken finishes up. It's got about 2 hours 45 minutes on the chicken. I'm going to clean up, do a little work around the house, then I'll come back and show you the chicken, shred that up, and then we'll put dinner together. All right, you guys, this chicken cooked just over 3 hours, about 3 hours 25 minutes, and it was completely cooked through and nice and tender. So once you get the chicken nice and tender, you're just going to go in and shred it up and mix it in with all of that delicious barbecue sauce. So delicious. Here is my plate. I just made some buns to go with this. You can do store-bought, you can make your own. Whatever time frame you have will work just fine. And then I just topped that with the slaw, put the top bun on, served it with fries, and this was delicious. We all went for seconds. It was so good. Hey y'all, so today we are going to be making 2 different recipes today, but they're all going to be for dinner. So we're going to be making Mongolian beef as well as some zucchini to go along with it. I've got my rice on already in the Instant Pot. It's waiting for me. We're going to go ahead and start with the sauce for the Mongolian beef. So in my bowl here, I've got some brown sugar. And to that, we're going to add 1/4 cup of water and a tablespoon of cornstarch. I went ahead and just mixed it together. And some soy sauce. And we're going to mix this together. And we're going to set this to the side while we work on the ground beef. Alright, so I've got my skillet here and it's over medium-low heat. I'm going to add just a little bit of neutral oil to my pan here. And I'm going to add in some ground beef. I'm just going to break this up with my spoon. And I'm going to let this cook until it is completely cooked through. You can season this with a little bit of salt and pepper. I'm going to hold off on the salt, but I will season this up with some pepper. So I'm just going to let this cook completely through, and then we will add the sauce. All right, so this ground beef is cooked through. We are going to add in some garlic. I've got a couple of cloves of garlic here that we're just going to add in, as well as some grated ginger. We're going to cook this up for about a minute until that garlic and ginger is nice and fragrant. Okay, so I can smell that garlic already, so we're going to go ahead and I'm going to grab my sauce, give this a little whisk here, and I'm going to add that right in here. And I'm going to give this a nice little stir, and I'm going to let this simmer for about 4 minutes. This smells so good. While that is simmering, I'm going to add in some red pepper flakes. Now it calls for chili. I don't have any. I'm just going to substitute with red pepper flakes. It's going to give it a nice little kick. If you don't want it spicy, I would go in and add maybe a quarter teaspoon, depending on how spicy you want it. But I'm just going to add in about half of a teaspoon. I want a little bit of a tingle. I don't want too much of a kick, but we're definitely going to know that that chili is in there. So I'm going to go ahead and let this finish up, and we'll add in some green onion. All right, so this has been cooking for literally like 3 minutes, and it thickened up very nicely. I don't want it to thicken up too much more, so I'm just going to turn this down on low. Now I've got some green onion here. I've got probably 3/4 of a cup. I'm not going to add all of this. I'm going to add about half of it because I want to garnish this with some more green onion as well as the zucchini. So I'm just going to add half of this right in there and give that a nice little stir. And this is pretty much done. So I'm going to set this on the back burner. It'll stay warm in this cast iron skillet. And we're going to work on the zucchini. It will not take long at all for the zucchini to cook. So I'm just going to go ahead and swap my skillets out, and we will start on the zucchini. All right, you guys, so we're going to go ahead and start on this zucchini. I've got this over medium-low heat. I'm going to add just a little bit of avocado oil to my pan, and this is to cook the zucchini. Now, you can do the zucchini one of two ways. You can spiralize it and make it into noodles. I just chunked it up roughly, and I'm just going to add it to my pan here. And I'm going to season this up with a little bit of salt and pepper. All right, so I'm just going to let these cook down until they just get tender. I don't want them to be mush. I kind of want them to keep their shape. So this should take about 5 to 8 minutes, depending on how high of a temp you have your stove set at. So I'm just going to let these cook, and then we'll add the rest of the ingredients. All right, so this has been cooking for about 5 minutes. I don't want this to be mush, like I said, so we're going to go ahead and add in the remaining of the ingredients. Now you can do this in a mixing bowl, but I'm just going to do it right into the skillet here, just for the sake of dishes. I'm going to add in about a tablespoon of sesame oil, some soy sauce, some tahini, some honey, and some chili powder. Now I'm using Aleppo pepper, but you can use any kind of chili pepper that you want. It's going to give it a nice little kick. Give this a stir and get all of this kind of combined together and that zucchini coated in this sauce. This smells so delicious. Make sure all of that pepper is nice and broken down. And this is pretty much done. I'm going to give this a taste and see if I need to add any more salt or pepper or anything like that. And then I will show you my plate when everything is all plated up.
Y'all, this was so good. If you like Mongolian beef, you're going to love this one. Now, the only thing is, if you are a little bit more prone to salty food, I would do low sodium soy sauce. But other than that, it was delicious. The zucchini was so good. It was nice and spicy. So if you don't like spicy food, I would either omit or go a little bit more light-handed on the pepper. But other than that, it was delicious. This was another go back dinner. Yeah, I will leave all of the links in the description box below for you guys so you can check all of these recipes out.
All right, y'all. Today we're going to be making cheesy ranch potatoes and sausage. It just sounded so good to me, so we're going to make that today. However, I'm going to be tweaking the recipe just a little bit. I am cutting on my oven for this, so it's going to get pretty warm in here, but it'll be fine. It'll be okay. We're going to start off with preheating our skillet. I've got my cast iron skillet, but you can do this in a non-stick and then just transfer it to an oven safe dish. But for the sake of dishes, I'm just going to do it in my cast iron. So let's get started. I've got my oven preheated to 375 degrees. I'm going to add just a little bit of oil in my pan here, and it's just to help cook the onions and sausage down. I've got some sausage here. I've already got it kind of sliced up. This is the brand that I'm using. It's going to have a nice little kick to it. So I'm going to grab a spoon here. And I'm going to add this sausage right in here, as well as one finely diced onion. I can already smell the chipotle in that sausage. It smells so good. But I'm going to go ahead and season this up with a little bit of salt and pepper. And I'm going to just give this a little mix. And I'm going to let this cook down until that sausage gets a little bit of color to it. And those onions are nice and tender. It should take around 5 minutes. So we'll just keep an eye on it. All right, so this has been cooking just over 5 minutes, and the onions are nice and tender, and there's good color on the sausage. I'm going to go ahead and cut my heat off, and I'm going to add in a 1/4 cup of butter, which is about half of a stick. Just let that start to melt down. Now, if you're doing this in a casserole dish and you're using a non-stick, you'll want to mix up these ingredients separately and then just pour them together in the casserole dish. But I will leave the link to the recipe down below so you can check that out for the full description, ingredients, and directions. So to that, I'm going to add some milk, some garlic. I'm going to add a packet's worth of ranch dressing, which is about 3 tablespoons. And I'm just going to stir this around so that ranch gets dissolved into that liquid. So there's no clumps of ranch powder. That would be delightful to bite into. Now I'm going to add in some cheese. This is just regular shredded cheddar cheese. You can shred your own or buy the pre-shredded. And I've got some potatoes here that I've just diced. There's no rhyme or reason. I just diced them up. They're all going to cook in the oven. You just want to make sure they're roughly about the same size. So I'm just going to go ahead and get all of this mixed together. All right, that's about as mixed as it's going to get. And kind of spread this out a little bit. All right. And I'm going to put my lid on. And now we're just going to put this in the oven. We're going to cook it covered for about 60 minutes, about an hour. And then we'll take the lid off and then we'll cook it for another 15 to 20 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in the oven and I'll show you what it looks like when it gets done.
All right, y'all, here are these delicious potatoes right out of the oven. They're still nice and bubbly hot. This made the entire house smell so good. I think the next time I make this, I'm going to add a little bit more ranch powder to this because I want more of that flavor of ranch in this. But other than that, it was delicious. Here is my plate. Now I just served this with some broccoli on the side. I added a little bit of salt, pepper, and some lemon juice, kind of kept it simple. And this was a 10 out of 10. And my daughter loved this. I think this was her favorite out of all three dishes, which says a lot because she does not like sausage and she went back for seconds. So highly recommend this one. But that is going to wrap up this week's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to like it, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.